Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of A Hill to Die On. Remember, there are timestamps in the description below, so please skip ahead to whatever part of the podcast you want to listen to. And also remember to follow us on social media at The Hill to Die On, and that's all lowercase. This episode was recorded around beginning of March, so a lot of this information is out of date. Yeah, so just know that going into the episode. Otherwise, I think we had a fun episode. Little, serious in the middle. We lightened up towards the end, but I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, and one quick final thing to note that has almost become routine at this point. We had some audio difficulties in the beginning. Just like a little light humming in the background. I fixed it about halfway through for the most part. All right. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Quarantine.
What is your favorite thing?
We have more time to podcast. Welcome everybody.
Podcast time
to episode 8 of A Hill to Die On. I'm your host, Matthew Rios, and I'm as always joined by the astronomically gifted Alessandro Comai.
Hello.
A man of few words.
Yeah, but good ones. Yeah. Few but good.
Few but good. Good but few.
Yeah.
I was going to do my usual thing of just interrupting you, but I feel like I need to mix it up. I need to mix up the podcast intros.
Hold that thought. Hang on.
It's breached the bunker, folks. He's just got it is witnessed now.
Listen to me hand sanitize. I'm sanitizing my hands though. I think we're still in the clear. Let me check hang on. Before we get this pod rolling, I want to check the pollen levels.
The pollen level.
Look, moderate tree pollen. Oh, why did it go away? Oh, today's a yellow day. See? That's no
I mean, I guess to be fair, I am also experiencing allergies. I have the postnasal drip. Anytime I eat something or anytime I eat something or like somebody makes me laugh, I have to cough, and then people do the eyes like that meme with the puppet or whatever. It's like
yeah,
it's like that. Yeah. So the other day at work, I had to sneeze and I was like, oh, no,
not in front of the others.
Exactly. Well, everybody out there, as I've said, welcome to episode 8 of A Hill to Die On podcast. We are podcasting to you through the airwaves directly in our little coronavirus bunker. Mm-hmm. We have locked it down, sort of, not really, but we're trying to stay safe. Just as always, a quick word. Please practice washing your hands in these dire times. Don't touch your face if you can help it. I've just touched my face 5 times, but try not to social distance. Just do your best to limit the spread of this virus. It's very important. I don't know if you have anything more to say to that, Alex, but
if you don't like reciting your ABCs while washing your hands, you can always listen to this podcast and wash your hands for the full 1 to 2 hours.
Yes, that would scientifically that'll help.
Yeah,
that's irrefutable.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
Uh-huh.
There's no evidence suggesting that washing your hands more will negatively impact your health.
Exactly.
So listen to this podcast multiple times even.
Yeah.
Get those views in while washing your hands. Sing your Hill to Die On ABCs. I don't know.
This is our special edition 20-second long podcast episode. Just a super cut.
Normally, this would be the section where, Alex, I'd ask you what we've been up to, but everybody's been up to the same thing.
Nothing.
Of being home.
Yeah.
Yes. So I figured we would turn this section into sort of, how I guess sort of just a recap of the events for us from our perspective of how just this whole coronavirus business went down. So I don't know if you want me to start or if you want to start, but just sort of like what were sort of those events leading up to once it got critical in the U.S.? Because I remember. I sort of remember the timeline of events.
You can go for it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how your perspective was, but I remember, like, which is also a massive bummer. A lot of stuff is getting canceled for the best, but it's still a bit of a bummer. And I was prepping for my big article, another one that I was hoping that. Wait, have I said this on this podcast?
I don't think you have.
I'll come back around to it. There was some exciting news that happened in February, but I was building up to another big article to release for the Missourian. It was going to be on this fight against pediatric cancer thing. It was Fight Night Mizzou. I was going to do this big feature where we sort of embedded with all the fighters and everything like that. It was going to be a cool narrative arc. It was going to be cool, and it's a charity, so it would have been a nice like piece to highlight the efforts for this charity. Anyway, so we're leading up to it. We keep hearing, right, like over like the month of February, you kept hearing about all the coronavirus in China, right? But like we're so, the United States is so disconnected from the rest of the world geographically that like, when you hear stuff like that happening, you're like, oh, whatever. It's not going to hit us, right? Like, or at least it's not going to hit us as bad because we're not connected. So I just put it off in my mind, and I kept focusing on this article and getting this article and preparing to release this thing and doing all the writing and reporting and everything. And it just kept building. And then like right as we were about the week of the event, right? The week of the event, we started hearing like, oh man, it's hitting Washington. It's in Washington. Oh man, a couple people have died. This is a bit of a scare, and all of a sudden, like, oh, it's in New York, California. Oh, now the cases are at 29, and this is like what, like Wednesday or Thursday? No, maybe no. This is probably like Monday.
Okay, yeah.
Probably like Monday.
Last Monday.
Yeah, last Monday.
Yeah.
Where like, and then it was like pretty much dotted around the coasts, and people were dying, and is like by like Tuesday, everybody was like, oh man. Is stuff about to go down, and the rumors circulating around campus. Everybody was hearing different things about like hard and soft quarantine and different things like that, and until finally like Wednesday, Jasmine hit up the group chat of our friends, and she was like, "Oh, I've heard rumors that like they're canceling classes. Like it's gonna be announced at like 5 p.m." And sure enough,
on the dot. Yeah.
I was sitting in my Fundamentals of Design lab class, and the news just dropped of like, oh yeah, class are canceled the rest of the day, for the rest of the week as well. We're gonna see what happens over the weekend. We're gonna prepare for online only class. And it was like, oh, okay. And then before you know it, in the next like couple of days, they shut everything down. On Friday, they were like, okay, classes are canceled the rest of the semester. Yeah, of last Friday, as of recording this last Friday, they were like, yeah, everything's done. And then over the weekend, a bunch of these states of emergencies and all this jazz, and like now the city of Columbia, where we live in Missouri, is in a state of emergency. All sporting events done for the foreseeable future. They're they're asking people to limit their group sizes to like 10, and it's just, it's become a pandemic now by WHO, the organization. It has been a wild ride. Yeah. Is that, I know I kind of just talked there for like a solid 3-4 minutes, but like, was that sort of like how it happened, on your end of things from your perspective?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I had just been hearing about it since like early January, right? And then like, I guess I wasn't too worried until like at some point in February, I read this article on Twitter that was like, that made the rounds, it was like, oh, you know what? 40 to 70% of the world population is probably going to get the virus at some point in the next, year and a half or something. And I was like, yeah. So it just kind of was like a soft, like, until they canceled classes. And that's wild though, that it was Friday that they canceled it for the rest of the semester. Cause that feels like forever ago.
Yeah. Right. It feels like everything has been moving so fast.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. And now a bunch of our friends aren't going to walk at graduation, let alone we don't even know. Was that me?
I think that's you.
That's all right. Yeah, but like a bunch of our friends aren't even going to graduate now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or at least make the walk, I mean.
It's a bummer that it hit on their last semester,
Like how crazy it's been, just the build-up. Like it's felt like it's been like 2 weeks, and in reality it's only been a couple of days since things have just escalated exponentially.
Yeah.
It's just...
We're up to 4,000 something cases right now, right? It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's moving fast.
Yeah, and in Missouri, I think we're now at 8.
8 confirmed, yeah.
Pretty much in Springfield and St. Louis is where it's hit.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think there's definitely some people in Colombia who got it.
Only like 10 people have been tested, at least, by the CDC. That's what I saw in the...
Oh, is it just by the CDC?
In Boone County, only around 10 people have been tested.
Probably those journalists, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Got everyone from that conference.
That was another thing. I was, for the longest time, now I've kind of felt a little bit better about it. But since a lot of those journalists have came up negative now. But as people may or may not know, journalism major, writing stories and shit. Excuse my French. And these journalists went to this conference, investigative reportive conference or something like that, where somebody from the conference tested positive for it. And then the journalists came back, of course, and for a couple of days they were hanging around, the Missourian. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that's where I go almost every day. I'm going to get tagged and bagged. It's over. I got coronavirus day one. It's
You were worried big time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I could have it. I could be asymptomatic, but I that's just my negative Nancy in me, I think, or my worrier part of me talking. I no longer think that I have it. I'm still going to act like I have it though, and I'm going to try to keep up my efforts of trying to stay away from other people for the most part, but
good call.
Yeah. I'm only really going to expose myself to my friends, because those are the people who
are expendable.
Not
like we've been interacting, so if it's not like
exactly. We've been in contact since the quarantine has gone into place, and I don't know about you, but the only other people who I've been exposed to is like work, but that's because I still need to make some money, and anybody who tangentially, like a Rebecca, like I've been in contact with Rebecca today. I don't know if she's been in, like the little chain of effect, which is another reason why it's important to social distance in this time. You never know.
Yeah.
And like we could have easily played Uno in person if we wanted to, but instead we jumped on Discord, bought Uno because it was on sale, and played some Uno over Steam.
And it worked all right.
And it was a fun time. Yeah, it was fun. So again, very important.
Don't go to Bob Evans.
Don't go to Bob Evans. Unless you really, 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 really are dumb and you'd like to get infected and risk the lives of other people.
Yeah.
I hope the PR person pulled them aside and was like, dude, you
take it back. We can't spin this. You don't understand.
For people who don't know, Alex, could you provide them some context of what we're talking about?
Yeah, it was like the governor of West Virginia was yesterday he was giving, I don't know, a press conference. Not even a press conference, just an announcement. And he was like, for Christ's sake, if you want to go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store. If you want to go eat at Bob Evans, go eat at Bob Evans. It's just we can't give up our lifestyle because of a virus, And he's in whatever fairness we should give him, he, assumed that the virus was not circulating in West Virginia, which is not a good idea.
Which also, I don't know, the last time I looked at the map, it may have been updated so that this information may not be true, but isn't West Virginia still the one state that allegedly doesn't have any confirmed tested cases? Is that correct?
I don't know. I can check the map.
Last time I checked the map, West Virginia was white. But that's also because they're not doing widespread testing. You have to get these ridiculous criteria to get the test, to even get the test, right? And then even then, there still could be people walking around who have it.
Yeah.
So just because your state's in the white doesn't mean that you're in the clear.
Yeah. Don't wait to stop going to Bob Evans until the virus actually hits. That is good Lord.
Yeah. The sooner we limit that contacting, the sooner this virus will die down. Yeah. Or at least we can control it. Good news is though, the people going into starting already that vaccination testing. Hopefully this isn't going to be like Plague Incorporated where like we can sabotage the labs.
Oh God. Oh man.
But
what a disaster.
that would be a disaster.
From someone who doesn't know the states, is that West Virginia?
Yes, that's West Virginia.
Okay.
So West Virginia is allegedly the one state that's clean. I don't believe it though.
Well, yeah.
Just like we still don't have any confirmed cases in Colombia. Bullshit. I think that this virus, with how infectious it is, has to be in Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Somebody has it here. Now, hopefully they stay home, they stay away, or they're in the hospital. I don't know. But I don't want to bring it out.
Yeah.
But,
What even is Bob Evans?
Bob Evans? It's like a Denny's.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly, but it's like a Denny's. Yeah. Me and Jasmine went there one time. Oh my God. I shouldn't assume the worst of people. Maybe they were just perplexed at seeing young people there because it was like a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
It was like 11 a.m. You know, they were like, the youth here because it was all like old people and families.
Uh-huh.
They're like, what the hell? And it wasn't by any of the college stuff, so I shouldn't judge right away.
Okay, well.
But it was potential racism.
Oh, man.
Because, yeah, we were getting some looks.
Damn.
And I was like, what the hell is... We're just here getting some breakfast, dude. What is the matter?
Oh, my God.
Well,
That's yikes.
since all of our classes are canceled, campus is closed, we've moved on to online classes only. How has that been for you, Alex, so far?
Not bad. We haven't done much on, like, the physics side yet because, you know, there's really not much that changes. It's just the lecture goes online and it works. But, like, photography, like, our professor was, like, on Friday, he sent out an email like, yeah, we're just going to spend the weekend figuring this out and brainstorming because we have no idea what to do. But it actually worked really well. Like, we just met in, like, we kind of staggered it into, like, 3 groups within the class and, like, met hour to hour. There we go. Look, there's the Slack channel popping up. And, yeah, like, Zoom, the video conferencing thing, just works great. You can change your background to make it look like you're in, like, San Francisco or something. Like, it was so much fun. You can... Yeah, I don't know. It worked. It worked really well. So I was surprised. Yeah, and we're just going to, like, figure out how to, you know, share photos and do critique online and stuff. But otherwise, it's been going smooth. How about you, Matthew?
Yeah, so far it's been okay, but that's also because it's just started. And, like, a lot of my classes were... Like, 2 of my classes... I'm going to be kind about this.
Yeah?
2 of my classes are very open-ended. And they're more about... the experience outside of class.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. So they weren't very structured. It's pretty much going to go on as usual, whether I attended class or not. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
The other 2 classes that I have, is that vanilla?
It's not, no, it's lemon, coconut and lemon.
He has
This
hand sanitizer spray.
It smells so good. Matthew, you've refused to use it yet because you don't believe that it smells fantastic, but you just smell it. It smells nice. You want to try it?
No, it's because I don't believe in hand sanitizer.
Why not?
I don't know. I'll stick to my regular gel sanitizer over there.
Germex. I mean,
I've actually had that
great idea,
for years. I don't even know if it's still good, but the hand sanitizer doesn't expire, right? A pickle. That's just
it looks like a pickle. There's like this big... It's a Germex thing with a big, you know... This is the wrong time for me to be railing on hand sanitizer, right? It's good to use hand sanitizer, but is that supposed to be a germ? It's like a germ with a big, like, no sign over it, but it looks like a moldy pickle.
Well... From over here, I can't get a good look at it. It just looks like Shrek to me from here. But...
What are you doing on my hands?
This is my hand. Anyway, so 2 of my classes, yeah. The other 2, they're going to upload the lectures online. So that's good. And then we just have to still do the assignments, but it's just going to be all online. And we're still going to have our quizzes and stuff like that. It's nothing to change about that. The one class that seems like is going to be a pain is my fundamentals of design class. She wants to do Zoom, right? Which normally wouldn't be a problem. But she told us, hey, don't think that you're not going to have to wake up at 8 a.m. ever again. Yeah, you might have to. I'm like, for what, lady? Like, I like her. She's really nice. She's super nice. And she, like, complimented me on some of my design work before. And I really like her. But, like, really? We're still going to wake up at 8 a.m. for this? Like, come on. Like, you couldn't do it like everybody else and just record lectures and then upload them online. Like, literally, my comparative political systems professor. That's the name of the class. He was like, yeah, I could do Zoom and you could like watch a virtual lecture, but I think it'll be easier for everybody if I just record it and like you watch it on your own time. 100%. Yes. Just watch it on your own time. Like now the problem with that is no structure. So like I'm going to have to put time in my own schedule and figure that out, and like when to watch the lectures and stuff like that. And that's been a problem for me for like online classes. But still, I would rather deal with that and it be my own fault than have to wake up for an 8 a.m. lecture online, drag my ass out of bed, get in front of the computer, turn on Zoom, and it's just I just don't want to deal with that.
That is a hassle.
Otherwise it's been fine. I took a midterm. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Next couple of days is gonna be real interesting, and we're gonna head into spring break and get some time off. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think this has really messed us up, and like a lot of work is gonna get pushed into spring break.
Yeah, and we're just gonna be stuck inside, the whole time. Unless I guess the one thing that I was realizing is like we don't have to be indoors. Like you can social distance like at a picnic or something, if you're still just like 6 feet apart. Like, and apparently it's just really good to be in a well ventilated area, which is outdoors. So I guess Uno's probably still off the table because you're touching cards and stuff like that. But
that was another thing I was going to mention. Two things. One, I agree with homeboy governor, whatever his name is.
Jay Inslee? No, that's Washington.
To the extent of that, like, yes, to a certain extent, we're still going to have to live our lives. Like, right? Like, I still got to go to work. We still got to go out and get groceries. Yeah. Uh-huh. But don't go to Bob Evans. Don't just recreationally, like, don't go to the bars. Not that any bars are open. Most cities have, like, shut that down.
Yeah.
But, like, don't go to bars. Don't go to restaurants if you can help it. Get your groceries, go to work, and then stay home if you can. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, occasionally hang out with, like, a friend or two, like, in a group of, like, 5 or 6. Like, that's fine. But try to limit your contact, Don't completely normally live your life. Try to stay indoors or social distance outdoors if you can. And another thing, I, for the longest time, thought the virus was airborne. It's not. It's... I don't know how you would use this.
Respiratory?
Yes, but it's like aerosol. Like it's droplets. It's not just in the air like a gas. It's droplets. So like when you cough or you sneeze, those particles like go out like, I don't know, like 5 feet, 10 feet or something like that, and then they drop.
Yeah.
And if what that video I sent on Twitter is to be believed by this doctor, he was saying that right now they think that those droplets stay around for like 9 days. So it's important that you try not to get that shit on your hands and, wash your hands. But like, anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know. Oh my God, did I just use y'all?
Yeah, you did, because it works great.
Oh my God.
Well, you already said it. You can't take it back. You recorded it too. That's great.
You'll never hear that from my mouth again.
Oh, we'll hear it every time we listen to the podcast.
Oh my God. I will never say that again.
Immortalized.
Never. I can't believe I just messed up and said y'all. Oh my God. This is a great shame upon my house.
You caught a different kind of bug. The y'all bug.
Anyway.
I hope y'all heard that. Go on, Matthew.
No.
Go on.
No,
you were saying important stuff. You were talking about the coronavirus. You were talking about washing your hands.
I'm going to keep going. Just want to let you guys know.
Oh, so the boys. Okay. The girls don't get this information.
You guys and gals out there. You people. Mi gente. All right? I want my people to know out there. Just remember that although it is technically not airborne, it is still important. Wash your hands, social distance, all that jazz. Be safe. Don't be an idiot or a moron like all the college kids. Literally Wednesday when all the classes got canceled, the bars were flooded, and I almost wanted to join them because I like a good time out in the club. But it's important. Now is the time to act, and not later. Mm-hmm. Do we have anything else to say about the coronavirus, Alex?
I don't think so. Yeah, no. I sounded very unsure because I am, but not that I can think of.
Yeah. And this might hinder the guests for the far future. I was thinking about like inviting some people that I know, maybe potentially to be as a guest on the podcast. But At this rate, I mean, I still gotta think about it, but at this rate, that might not happen. I'll still invite like our close friends, like Michael or Rebecca, people we still interact with on like a day-to-day basis. But for the most part, I think we're gonna limit that, and my plans for expansion is gonna be put on hold for now. You know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, and I think that's us. That is it for Tales from the Corona Bunker.
Yeah.
That's about that. Alex, did you want to go first, or did you want me to go first?
I don't know, because I said, like, I could do either one. Do you want to save yours for last, or can you go at any time? Because
I can go at any time.
Okay.
I always like to give the choice up to you.
Yeah.
But if you want more time, I got my topic already good to go, ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stick with second.
Okay.
Can I get a 2?
Well, we got a 3.
Ah, okay. I'll take it.
I guess technically, you are actually a 3, because first topic was the
coronavirus.
Yes, coronavirus. Yes.
You know what? Just had an idea. Like, right, Wheel of Fortune, but instead of like a phrase, it's just a long number. And you, I don't know why that would exist. But
just a number.
Yeah, just a number.
That would be a terrible idea.
I don't know. It could be fun. It could be.
That would be awful. I thought I wrote something up about it. Evidently, I didn't. But that's right. I'm speaking from the heart anyway. So, Alex.
Yeah.
My topic today that I'd like to discuss, and it's something I am passionate about. I have mentioned to you and the friends before multiple times. Mm-hmm. Political. What's the word I'm looking for? Political tolerance. Mm-hmm. I think is the word. Political tolerance. This is more of a serious topic, folks. If you couldn't tell already by the word political.
Put on the serious hat.
Put on the serious hat. We're not here for laughs. We're not here for games.
Take off your silly hat. Take off your goofy socks.
Yeah, no Johns here. No Johns.
Get off of the exercise ball.
Yeah.
Sit in a real chair.
Yeah. Drink a whiskey straight.
Yeah.
And grow some hair on your chest.
The whole bottle.
Yeah, the whole bottle.
Yeah.
Get alcohol poisoning. Go to AA. Get your life turned around. Go to church.
Then you'll be ready for this conversation.
Yeah, then you'll be ready.
You'll be up to speed with us.
We've both gone through AA, gone to church now. Anyway, sorry. On a serious note, I think the lack of political tolerance, just in general, to me, at like the past couple of years, and you can attest to this, I complain about this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like tribalism a little bit, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to just stick to political tolerance for today. I think the lack of political tolerance from people on both sides, on all sides, not even both, just all around the spectrum, I think is just so, it bothers me so much. And this is coming from somebody who's a disagreeable person. Mm-hmm. And like, I am down to argue. I mean, not that I look for arguments. I try to avoid them when I can sometimes, especially with my friends. Like most of the time, I'll try to not engage with my friends in arguments. Because I know once I'm in it, I'm in it.
It's your hill.
Yeah. You know, like I'm in it to win it. No, you know, it's a hill to die on, as some would say.
Yeah.
You know, roll credits right there. That's the episode, folks. See you later. But like, people being terrible to other people. Just because somebody believes X, Y, and Z, they're like so intolerant to like this other person's like beliefs and like just who they are. Like, it bothers me so much. And then they immediately turn around and go, oh, you know, let's be, if we're talking about the right side of the spectrum, oh, let's be Christian and whatever. We're talking about the left side of the spectrum, like, oh, let's be inclusive and whatever. You know, like, it's like you're being hypocrites is what you're being. Mm-hmm. You're telling people in one hand not to judge other people, and then you turn around and like you cast shade and you attack these people for just their political beliefs. It just bothers me so much, right? I've said this before in the podcast, but I'm an anomaly. For whatever reason, I'm like a centrist, but I lean more right. I'm more of a Republican in some matters, right? Mm-hmm. And like for whatever reason, I make friends with liberals. I don't know how that happens. I love you guys,
yeah,
but I almost wish it was like, it's nice to
see your political views represented.
Inherently, yes. It's nice to be around people that share the same views as you.
Yeah.
But it's not something I need personally, you know. And I like a little bit of disagreement. Mm-hmm. Hence my disagreeableness. But like, I never like on top of the fact that I don't like to engage in arguments with you guys, I don't ever like look down on you guys for maybe as a joke, but never like seriously look down on anybody as like, oh, you believe this, well then you're just a fucking, you're an idiot or whatever, like,
yeah,
I don't do stuff like that.
Oh.
There's one friend, there's one or two friends that I know who I'm not gonna call out, but I have heard this political intolerance before coming from them, and again, not gonna name anybody. I won't, and I'm not even gonna hint at it.
Okay.
If it's you, well, you're just gonna have to try to figure that out for yourself. You're gonna have to figure it out for yourself. But I'm so passionate about it that I can't properly put my thoughts together. But it's just something, and like you see it on Twitter too. It's just from all sides. It's just so annoying. I don't understand why people they can't separate the emotions from like the arguments and then from like the people, right? Because like at the end of the day, we're all people, and it's the saying like every good villain thinks they're the hero. Like it applies to real life. Like nobody thinks that they're the villain. Nobody thinks they're the villain.
Yeah.
No, maybe most people.
Most people, yeah.
Most people don't strive to be the villain. So like if you can put that aside for a second and look at somebody, like, and realize where they're coming from, like it makes it makes things easier. I don't know. Sorry, I just ranted there for a couple minutes, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Like I'll add, I have some caveats about like there are some ways that people aren't tolerant of other people that are justified, but like in certain cases. But like I feel like most of like the political intolerance that we see is usually like it's like based off of a label instead of what the person's actual belief is. Like it's like, oh, I don't date Republicans, or like swipe left if you're not into Trump, or like like
swipe how you vote.
Yeah, swipe how you vote. Like it's like preconceived. You don't know someone's political beliefs as much as you are sure that their political affiliation is what you think it is. Like if they are registered as a Republican or something, you assume that they have X, Y, and Z beliefs, and so like it's definitely, you shouldn't like base it off of that, because you never know how someone might identify versus how their policy beliefs actually go. But at the same time, like something I hear a lot is like different conversation when it comes to like bigotry, so, okay, for example, like in like the trans rights movement and stuff like that, right? It's hard to bring people into the fold and tolerate their views if their view is like you don't deserve the rights that you're asking for, like it's the same thing with like civil rights of any kind, where it's like you can be tolerant, but like are you supposed to tolerate the people that don't tolerate you or your rights?
This might be controversial.
Yeah.
But I think to some extent, yes. Because there are people out there who have views that I think are very problematic, and to some extent, I think I personally tolerate it to a certain extent. Now, something like rights, right? Like civil liberties for people. I think, yeah, the amount of tolerance given, right, shouldn't be very high.
Yeah. Like,
we shouldn't be allowing people to, like, walk around and say, oh, yeah, death to, like, trans people or black people or whatever people, Yeah. Like that, no, yeah. I think you stop there. But I think to a certain extent there should be tolerance on almost, I'm not going to say everything, but almost anything, I think.
Well, I think definitely for, like, what you're allowed to say and stuff, like in terms of speech. But I think like in like interpersonal relationships and stuff like that, like if you're like, what's an example? I don't know. Like if someone's asking like, why does like this, I don't know, group that advocates for gay rights not tolerate, and what do I mean by tolerate, I guess? Okay, you know what? I guess it's just like if you're gay, right, you're not obligated to make friends or something with someone who thinks that like you're an abomination, or that you don't deserve your civil rights. Like that's a level of like because, okay, I'll also say there's other political issues that are much more mild than this, right? Which are not worth being intolerant over. But when it's issues of, like, you don't believe that I am, like, a, you know, as good of a human being as you, and I don't deserve those rights, I don't want to be around you, I think that's justified.
My main thing is, like, and this is something I have heard, right? So, this person voted. This is a very popular one at the moment. So this is just the thing that came to my head, but it can apply across the board for any issue or anything, right? So, like, this person voted for Trump, like, fuck them, and, like, instantly they're a terrible person. Honestly, due to a series of unfortunate events, I wasn't able to vote in the 2016 election. I came pretty close to voting for Trump. I came pretty close to doing it, you know? And fuck me? Like, no. Like, I don't think so. Like there are reasons you should before you immediately jump to fuck this person, you should listen to the reasons why they voted for, X, Y, and Z. Like, during the 2016 election, leading up to that, it was freshman year, right? Like, I wasn't quiet about it, but I wasn't also vocal. I let it be known that I kind of was like, oh, you guys want to vote for who? Bernie? Okay, like, all right. But, like, I never once was like, oh, yeah, fuck you guys. You guys. That's what I mean more so. Like, jumping to those assumptions, like, being tolerant. Like, yeah, like, I don't exactly agree with everything you guys are saying, sometimes. But, like, I don't know, like, just being tolerant of people. Like, it's okay to separate that. It's okay to separate those sides of yourselves, unless it's something egregious, like you said. But, like, it's okay to separate those sides to yourselves. And I just see it rampant. Like, at least, maybe it's because I'm on a college campus, and, like, it's very, college can tend to radicalize some people a bit. But, yeah, I see it everywhere these past couple of years, and it just bothers me so much. I don't like it.
Well, okay, so I'll also say that, like, another example, because I've been unsure about this for a while. Like, another example that I've thought of is, like, if you're a Muslim American, right, that gives you a whole bunch of different reasons to give yourself pause if you meet someone who says that they voted for Trump. Because, like, I guess there's a lot of reasons that someone might vote for Trump, Like, I don't pretend to know them. Like, I don't know. But you're a Muslim American who's now in a position where you are speaking to someone who says, I voted for the person who campaigned on trying to but ban people like you from entering the country, and you have to ask, like, am I in danger now? Like, this person who's 5 feet away from me wanted or did vote for someone who said that they would kick people, or sorry, I keep saying that, but ban people like me from entering the country, And, like, tolerance is one thing, but, like, it should also be asked, like, why is someone obligated to tolerate someone or the views of someone who, thinks that, like, for example, their family just shouldn't be able to enter the country for no reason, Like, Trump is an extreme example because he said a lot of racist things, like, and pretty reprehensible stuff. So, like, on, like, a surface level, yeah, like, it's understandable that you gotta, be tolerant of everyone, but, like, there's also legitimate reasons that certain people might have pause, when they hear that you voted for Trump.
And I agree with that, right? Like I understand, like, things like that, like, you gotta pause for a second. I guess what I'm just saying is, like, before you don't immediately get the sword, like, ask a couple of questions. If it really bothers you, right? Like, somebody supports, like, this is just a really dumb extreme example, right? But, like, let's just say somebody supported, like, the gulags in the Soviet Union or something like that. Like, so just something, like, wild, right? I would go, why? Like, because that's something that I want to hear what you have to say first. Now, I can't see any good reason for the why, but just who knows? Like, a lot of people during the election voted for Trump purely because of, and he said some heinous things. he said some heinous things, but they voted for, they overlooked those aspects and and voted for him on other things because they were like, oh, this is more important to us now. Whether that's right or wrong is a whole nother story. I'm just saying, like, that's why I think people should hesitate. Because a lot of people were like, I remember during right after the 2016 election, people were like, what the hell? Why did this happen? And I was walking around. I don't know if you remember. Well, I kept to myself a little bit. So maybe not. But I remember saying, like, or at least I thought I remember saying, the writing was on the wall for this one. Like, the Rust Belt, the Midwest, all those people are feeling very disenfranchised right now. And, they not that Trump is a great president. Like, if you remember, and I do remember saying this, Republican Party did not want Donald Trump. We did not want him. I can tell you as a Republican, in the mix of things back in those days, we did not want him.
But he did win the primary. So we lived with it. Everybody else who was like, all right. And we were like, okay, this is what it is now. Right? And people rallied behind him because they didn't want Hillary because of all the things, all the bad things associated with Hillary. Right? And the promises that Trump was making. And, about jobs and taxes and make America great again and all that jazz. So like these... Sorry, I got a bit off on a tangent. Let me reel it back in. My point just basically is like there are different reasons for people voting for X, Y, and Z candidate. And I can look at the people who voted for Hillary during that election, right? And I can think, oh, like, so then you must support X, Y, and Z. And like, no, not necessarily. People voted for Hillary because of X, Y, and Z. Or ABC, LMNOP, like whatever. Yeah. So I guess that's all I'm asking. And I'm not saying anybody's obliged to be tolerant. Like, if you don't want to do X, Y, and Z, fine, is your prerogative. I think, personally, people should be more politically tolerant.
So, like, at least ask beforehand, like, what's the deal?
Yeah, don't immediately go for the sword. Put your hand there if you want to, but don't immediately, like, pull it out. Pretend it's like a duel, a Midwestern duel.
Just,
all right?
Barely be reaching for it.
Like, why? What? Okay. All right.
I mean, I guess that's
what it is.
That's fair. Yeah,
I say, like, I'm a Republican. At least I think I'm a registered Republican. I wouldn't consider myself a traditional Republican at the moment, but I'm a registered Republican. Yeah. And like I said, my views typically skew right, right? And like immediately for most people, that's like, at least on a college campus, it's alarm bells.
Yeah.
If I say that,
I mean, I think, I would imagine it's got to do with the fact that Trump is like the head of the Republican Party nowadays, and like people more so than the Republican, they're thinking like, oh shit, Republican, that means Trump, like I am not about that, because like Trump is just uniquely a bad person.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I guess this will have to be a discussion for another day, but I guess that also kind of goes with the toe the line mentality a bit.
Yeah.
And how our political system these days, like, it has to be in the two camps,
Yeah.
which another on top of itself, another topic for another day. We'll have to shelve those. Just political parties in general. It's a mess.
It's a big mess.
All right. Yeah. Is there anything else, Alex? I feel like I talked for a majority of this topic.
No, I mean, but it was your topic, so it was I totally understand. I think you're right. People should be more tolerant broadly, but yeah, like it's just the stuff I said about like identity issues that like arise more when, like if you're like, oh, you voted for Hillary, like it's like, oh, we disagree on like policy and stuff like that, but it's not like, Hillary was like, I'm gonna ban white people from entering the country, like it's I feel like when people are standoffish about Trump, it's like identity related stuff.
I think what you said sort of is a good way of putting it. We disagree on policy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, deep down inside that I'm a bad person or that you're a bad person. We could still come to the table.
That's true.
On things.
But like when it's not about policy, if like you're like you're in the Air Force Academy and like you're trans, right? And like you were kicked out and your career was, just thrown in the garbage because Trump banned trans people from being in the military, you'd be like, you're a Trump supporter? Like, what the fuck? Like, you ruined my career because of who, like, you know.
Well, well, to that I would say also, maybe that person doesn't know that, or they don't necessarily support that, but overall they support him and his policies or whatever. Not, again, whether that's good or bad or not is another discussion entirely. But, you know, just things to consider, I guess.
Yeah, so like there's room to discuss and be like, hey, just want to make sure that you're not a racist, or like you don't think I'm a, you know, subhuman creature.
Yeah.
And just want to verify that.
Yeah, just, again, that idea of before you pulled your Midwestern duel, wait a second, just 1 second, you know, and just ask a question or two. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, or don't, it's whatever. You know, what do I know? I'm just a dumb college kid. And it is what it is.
Look at us. Here we are, you know.
America's leaders.
Yeah. Dumb college kids together. But yeah, that's a good point, you know. I feel like a lot of people could use just more You know what, actually? Have you ever heard of the podcast Conversations with People Who Hate Me?
No, I have not.
Okay, you would probably like it. It's Dylan Marin, who did part of, you know, Welcome to Night Vale. And he, like, I always assumed he was a liberal guy. He's gay, and someone, like, left a comment on a video or something, like, insulting him for it, right? And you know, being totally homophobic and stuff. And he, like, called the dude. He was like, you want to talk about this? Let's make a podcast. And so now, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he had this podcast going where he would talk to people who were, like, insulting him in the comments, you know, or and now, and I think, does he, like, facilitate conversations between other people now, or is it still with him? I don't remember. But anyway, I only listened to one episode too. So, but he talks to people who, like, and he does what you're talking about. He says, like, why'd you say that? And they're like, you know what? I don't really know. It was in the heat of the moment. I don't actually think that, you know, you're a bad person because you're gay. And they, like, come to an agreement, and it's very humanizing.
That sounds like a great podcast, and that sounds like something I would love to do.
That's
like,
up your alley.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to right now. But that does sound a bit like tribalism, and that podcast sounds like it is mending the bridge on tribalism a bit.
Like realizing that, you know, which, again, people fearing for their safety are not obligated to do, but realize, like, you know, we're all human beings, I guess. And what, I don't know.
We all, it's, nobody tries to, not nobody, most people don't try to be the villain.
Yeah, people may be misinformed,
there's humanizing elements between us. Now, humans can do terrible things, but, you know, All right, Alex, I think that was a good topic.
I liked it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'll have to listen to that, or I have to look into it.
I can't believe I hadn't recommended it to you yet. Now that I remember it, totally sounds like
up my alley. I should invite that girl who said we should ban the First Amendment, and I should bring her on the show. And be like, I hate you. Why?
That's what you start with. I hate you.
That's not true. I don't hate that chick. But yeah, that would be an interesting conversation. I've always wanted to ask her, like, why do you think that?
Yeah.
Like, why?
You can totally get into it.
Baffling to me. Like, I just can't. Whatever. I saw her around the other day, like a couple months ago. I was like, oh, she's still here. Like, wow. Surprise. Anyway. All right, Alex. You've had a whole lot of time to think about a topic.
Yeah. Okay, to be fair, I was thinking about one topic, and it was yours, because we were talking about it.
Okay.
So, I in my defense...
you know, that is a good defense, because I do want you to be in the moment.
Thank you.
So, all right. Alex, do you have a topic for us today to close out the show?
We can talk about how Black Widow release has been pulled amid coronavirus pandemic.
So you're just reading from your notifications?
No, that was what I wrote down for when I had ideas, Matthew. I was writing these
down. You were prepared.
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I think I can fold these two things into one topic.
All right.
Building a PC and complaining about, like, graphics in gaming.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
Let me introduce it to me. Bring me in, Alex.
Okay, so for context, So like I had like coming into college, I had like a little MacBook Air, right? It worked great. I loved it. But like I was starting to do these like real big panoramas, stitching them together in Photoshop. Like it would take hours on the laptop, right? Like it was not meant for that. And I was like, okay, I need a new computer. I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and try something new. And I was like, okay, I'll build a PC. And like, you know, for anyone who isn't familiar with it, like it's just like you can buy parts of a desktop computer and slap them together and throw Windows in it, and it's, you know, it's a desktop computer now, and that's how a lot of people do like gaming computers. And it's been such a nightmare. I don't think it's worth it at all. I would never do it again unless I had like 2 other computers that I knew would keep working if this one stopped working. But at the same time, you know, like I feel like my experience has been particularly bad because like Michael has a PC that he built, and he always says like, yeah, I've had this for 6 years and I've done nothing to it, and there's dust in it, and like it works. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? And I know you know what I'm doing wrong, and I know what I'm doing wrong too. Okay. So yeah. So the reason that I'm complaining about this now is because my computer, my gaming PC, quote unquote, because I didn't really use it for gaming, and it really wasn't that much better for like photo stuff, you know, like it's not working well, it works, right? But it's not working anymore because the graphics card stopped working. So now it's effectively a MacBook, right? Just gigantic. I use it as a footrest. And like it's so big, it's so huge. Oh my god. Okay, because I bought the graphics card on eBay, right? But this it ties in, it's relevant, and it's only partially my fault, right? Because like the whole thing about like, you know, PC gaming building people, evangelists are like, don't get a MacBook or a laptop, build a PC because it's way cheaper and you get way more performance, you know? And like that's technically true, but then like I realized that like the reason it's cheaper is because like there's tons of cheap parts available, right? And they're shitty. They're so like my case, like it just doesn't close all the way. The screws don't close all the way. Like if you hit the metal panel wrong, it goes gong 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 because the fit is not tight. You know, it's huge. Oh my god, it's like it's little things that like that you take for granted, right? But like I've got this antenna, like it has a Wi-Fi antenna that sometimes falls over, right? Like there's all the ports are on the back. I gotta reach around to put stuff there. I can't move it. It doesn't move, right? What are the other complaints I have?
If you need time to think about complaints, I could.
You can just What are you thinking?
Well, and I think my main thought is like, right, like I remember like when it was time for college, my friend Cameron heavily encouraged me to just build my own PC, right? And like I've always kind of wanted to do that, but I think the thing is, right, like with building a PC, I think it can be cheaper, but you really have to navigate that fine line between like good parts and like what you need to like splurge on and what you can cut corners with, and you got to know the right providers and whatever. But I think at the end of the day, I'm more like I'm very much my father's son.
Yeah.
Or my.
That sounded right.
Yeah, that's right. My father's son. I'm very much my father's son in that I'm willing to pay for convenience.
Yeah.
So like I campaigned for my parents splurge a little bit extra on a very nice laptop that is good performance. It can go on the go and all these other things, right? And I love my laptop. My laptop has survived me 4 years of college. I can do mostly high intensive gaming on it. You know, it runs most modern games these days. And you know, it works well. I record the podcast on it. It does a lot of good stuff. So, and that sort of applies to bring this around to the PC building thing. I think that applies to building a PC. Unless you're really willing to dedicate yourself and you really do the research and all this jazz, I think you need time and money to really perfect building a PC. And that's why I personally avoided it. Also just because it's better to have a laptop to bring around to your classes and stuff. Like it doesn't make sense to have you know, a high powered desktop.
Yeah.
You know, when you're going to be on the go a lot in college. So anyway, that's just the first thing I thought of. Like you need to do it. You need to do diligent research. You need to do it right, and you need money. You need money and you need time.
Yeah.
Which in college you don't have a lot of either of those.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a struggle.
That's what I discovered.
Yeah. And you also, Alex, to be fair, you do a lot of wacky things. You did a lot of wacky things with your PC.
Nothing that should have affected how it works. I only painted it purple.
Water cooled?
Okay.
You water cooled it?
Yeah, okay, well, yes. Hang on. Yes, because, like, okay, back to the whole it's cheaper thing. It is cheaper for certain, like, you can get a higher performing computer for cheaper, but that's not the reason that people buy nice laptops. It's convenience, right? Like, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get this cheap graphics card on eBay, right? And okay, apart from the fact that it was from eBay, it turned out that it was just so cheap because it was incredibly loud. Like, it was so... Oh my god, I couldn't even use it. And it had glowing reviews by people who have no standards. And they were like, this is fantastic. I love it. It plays all the modern games at 1080p high settings. I have so much fun. And I like, it was gonna give me a headache how loud it was.
Hook, line, and sinker.
And then it stopped working because eBay. But like, yeah, what was I gonna say? I don't know. But
people... it's cheaper, yes, but you don't realize the other things that go into making a product, and like, you know, like, and also like the bit of a liability. Sure, you go cheaper and you get it from like some weird Asian country, right, or like some European or whatever. You know, you get it from a fishy distributor.
Yeah.
And that comes with some liability.
Yeah, and like you get more power for your money, which is applicable to like playing games, right? And maybe like video editing stuff. But like everything else, it was like a marginal improvement over like my, 2012 like MacBook Air with like 4 gigs of RAM. Like photo editing things, like importing, exporting, it was like the difference was like on the order of seconds in the amount of time it would take. Cause like it was just absolutely not worth it there. Now it's like it's that convenience thing again. Like I can't even reset my computer. I was complaining to you last night on Uno.
Right.
I was like, okay, it's having so many problems now. It's getting so slow. It takes the Wi-Fi doesn't work. This has been all throughout the thing, right? Like, because it's not an integrated system, it doesn't work very well. The Wi-Fi, when I turn the computer on in the morning, when I wake it up, it's disconnected from Wi-Fi. I have to turn Wi-Fi off and then turn it back on again for it to recognize the internet again.
Right.
And like that takes forever because like clicking, I have SSDs in there, right? Like it's not old hard drives. Everybody's like, put an SSD in your computer, it'll be super fast. I have to like click and then wait 20 seconds for it to turn off the Wi-Fi because it doesn't register, and then it oh my god. And like launching Photoshop takes longer than it did on my MacBook. And I can't reset it. I can't factory reset it to make it work better again. It literally can't. It's an error. It's like it gets through the whole process and it's like, sorry, couldn't factory reset your PC. Nothing was changed. That's what it says, and it's driving me nuts. Oh my god. Okay. And I guess I could transfer to the other, the other half of my topic, which was like graphics and stuff. Unless you had something that what were you gonna say?
Just real quick, I was gonna say I am one of those people that I say don't get Mac just because of it's a personal taste, and also I'm just not a big fan of the company, Apple. But I'm also not one of those people like. I don't mean to. If I misrepresent you, Cameron, I'm sorry. But earlier, when we knew each other in high school and stuff, around senior year, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was very into the whole PC Master Race thing, like legit PC Master Race kind of like mentality of like, oh, Matthew, you're still on Xbox. What are you doing, dog? Why are you playing on Xbox? Like that level stuff. Like I apologize if I misrepresented you, Cameron, but I don't go that far, but I do think that to a certain extent, I wouldn't get a Mac. I would stay away from that. If you want to, I mean, hey, feel free. My personal advice, get a nice high-end Windows laptop.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. That's nice. Yeah,
nice laptop.
I will say I personally think that Windows has become very ugly and annoying, and that's one of the things that's been driving me nuts about it.
The UI system, or
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the okay.
it's not the cleanest. I'll
It's
tell
not
you what.
the close window, maximize window, minimize window, right? Those 3 buttons on the top of every window. I think those are the ugliest things I've ever seen on Windows.
Really?
Those 3 squares. On Mac, they're 3 nice little circles, right? Separate in different colors. This is like square, square, square. It's
That might just be a personality thing.
Okay, yeah.
I enjoy the squares and the lines. And
I guess aesthetic differences then.
it's uniform.
But I totally get what you mean. Yeah.
But I mean, it's fair. Yeah. Especially also like photography. Like I know a lot of photography is done through like Macs. Like that's preferred in the industry.
Yeah.
I know.
And I didn't realize like how. Like there, and I think there are very legitimate reasons for that. Like it didn't occur to me until I got a PC and I got rid of my Mac, and then like I kind of forgot about the conveniences, and then I started using the really nice Macs in like the photo lab, right? And like you can read TIFFs without having you can read PSDs without even having Photoshop. You just hit the space button and it previews a PSD for you. Like there are so many things that are just a breeze for photography.
Yeah.
That like I took for granted. But yeah.
No, yeah, so I definitely feel that.
But
all right, to transition into the second part of your topic, if you wish.
Yeah, and so all of this, like PC Master Race stuff, like this, like get a real tricked out gaming PC, is for like the pursuit of like the ultimate graphics in your game. Like make your game look as good as possible. And I just like it just bugs me. Okay, one thing I think really, really good graphics in most games don't look good because of like the closer you get to reality, the more it looks like you really fucked up.
Sort of like that uncanny valley kind of thing.
Exactly. It's like hair in video games. Like it looks good from like technically, like ooh, if all you've ever seen is a video game, yeah, that's great looking hair. But it looks so close to real hair that it's incredibly obvious that it's not real hair.
Yeah, there's that sort of that fine line you gotta walk when it comes to graphics.
Yeah, and like
that's sorry to cut you off, but I'm just saying like the whole like pursuit of the graphics card thing, not 100% my thing.
Yeah,
but that's why I think you need time and money. Because first you have to build a good rig that's not going to implode every time you add something new to it.
Yeah.
And then you also just need the money to buy the latest graphics card every time it comes out. Because they change quick. For a while, my laptop had like the best graphics card on the market. And then quickly, I have been left in the dust.
Yeah. it goes quick. But I mean, it's not so much like, I'm not trying to rail on people who chase those killer graphics, Like, it bugs, and I get that, like, companies are going to make the best things they can. Like, they're always going to push the limits, right? But I think this idea that, like, I hate that companies are pumping out these games that, like, aren't going to be... Their potential is not going to be realized until, like, 5 years from now when a really good graphics card comes out. And people are going to be like, wow, I can finally play this game in full settings and it looks great, Like, it doesn't matter that much, Like, it bugs me all the hullabaloo about, like, ooh, this game looks super good. Like, I'm playing this... It's this weird... Like the gaming PC ecosystem is this weird space where it's like it's not just what game are you playing, but it's like what game are you playing and what settings do you play at,
Can you push your rig?
Like can you push your rig? And it's just that's not the point of a game. The point of the game is like playing the darn game, And like games on like shitty hardware like the Switch can look fantastic. Like Smash Bros looks great. It looks great, and it's like running on the equivalent of like a phone processor, It's like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, this is a rant.
No, it's okay. We both ranted a little bit today.
Yeah.
I definitely see that. Although I'm not one of those people that says gameplay is king when it comes to video games. I definitely agree. Not every game needs to be the second coming of Christ when it comes to like graphics. Like not every game needs to knock it out of the park. Like I don't need every game to go ooh wow, like, wow. The environments are they don't always need to be pristine.
Yeah, it can be. I think game developers could make their games look a lot better too if they didn't try to go for like pristine, lifelike looking environments. You know, like there are ways to there is a line between like looking so good that it's obvious that you failed to make it look perfect,
Jesus.
right? Yeah, and like looking so bad that it's a really ugly game. Like there's nice games with a definite art style that do a great job, you know? And I get that like games like Call of Duty and stuff and Battlefield like kind of have to look realistic or have to try to look realistic, but yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my half-baked critique
little rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'll say to that is, I guess, not that I'm not one of those people, but I guess I always want the option, the availability. Like, it really bums me out when I can't, like, nowadays, like, when I first got my laptop, I could always, like, push it to the limit and stuff, like, when I first got it. Nowadays, it kind of bums me out when I can't. Like, I always feel like, and maybe this is what those people feel like, I always feel like I'm missing out on something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, the main thing here is the gameplay, but, like, man, wouldn't this be really cool if like it had like, you know, like the god rays they talking about, that's a big thing now in performance. Like, can your machine do
ray tracing?
Yeah, ray tracing and all that jazz with the lighting and shadows and things. And yeah, so I guess my only comment on that would just be that, like, I understand like that feeling, but I agree it's more important about the gameplay.
Yeah, I think that's like what stressed me out so much too about like trying to play games on my computer, was like knowing that like what, you know, when you play Smash Bros, like it's the best, everybody's game looks the same and it's the best looking game, it's the best looking version of Smash Bros, but like when you play anything on like a gaming PC, like, you know, in the back of your mind that there's always someone with a better computer that's having a better time,
right?
You know, and it's like, damn it, it's like the perpetual dissatisfaction that, you know, I guess it's not that big of a deal.
You're always
like,
hunting for that white whale.
Yeah, you know, and it's just something else to that bugged me, I guess. But
you're totally right. Totally right. All right, Alex.
That's all I got.
That is quite all right. What I forgot to mention from the beginning of the show, which I'll mention now before we close out, is back in February, I have not said this on the podcast yet. My big centerpiece article actually won an award by the Associated. Woo! Oh, thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. It won an award from the Associated Press sports editors. It's like an organization of sports editors from the Associated Press, I assume. That like they it's just kind of like a networking kind of organization, I think. But they also like review articles and stuff, and they hand out awards and stuff. Anyway, for 2019 in Division D, I was in the top 10 for feature writing story, which means they didn't look at any of the pictures, any of the videos, any whatever. They just took my text and they read it, and I was in a contest against other people. I don't know how many, but I was in a contest of like thousands of people, I think. And mine got in the top 10. I don't know if we're going to go any further than that. I think there's supposed to be a top 5 eventually. But with the coronavirus, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to settle for just being in the top 10. I don't know 100% where I'm going to place. But I was very happy about that. Got some nice recognition. And I was hoping to repeat it, but that's not going to happen either because of the coronavirus.
Damn.
But
yeah.
But that was cool. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
It was a great story.
I was very proud of myself. It was weird. I was sitting in the lab with Jasmine, and like all of a sudden, like I got a text from one of my journalistic peers or friends, and he was like, "Hey, congratulations on the award." I was like, "What?" Like I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And like I looked, and I was like, oh shit. And like I went and ran to Twitter to see, and like sure enough, like I started getting like people were like tagging me in the post and like yo, congratulations or whatever, and you know, a bunch of other people from the Missourian one. That's another thing I want to highlight. Not just me from the Missourian, a bunch of other people in the Missourian did award-winning work. Like I know the photog team that was assigned to my story and I worked with, they won an award for their video package that they produced. You know, there was this girl. I haven't met her yet, but she seems like a very cool girl. I think her name is Christina Long. She started this project at the Missourian called Breaking the Boys Club, and it's entire project centered around women in sports and women reporters and just women in general in sports. You know how like there's that sort of societal, not stigma, but like stereotype that like sports are for boys. Mm-hmm. You know, writing about sports is for boys. Talking about sports is for boys. And it's not. There's a big community of women out there who love sports. And she did this, and as from what I remember, she started this project of making a whole series of articles that break the boys club, talking about women in sports. So there's a bunch of things like that the Missourian team did, and we won a bunch of awards. So it's not just me. It's a shared collaborative effort. We're all award-winning boys and girls.
Oh yeah, the award club.
The award Missourian people. Yeah. That's a terrible name, but you know, what are you gonna do?
The award folks.
The award folks.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Alex, is there anything else you have to say? Anything you want to let the people know? Before we sign off.
Going back to the y'all thing.
Oh my God.
If you're struggling,
I had suppressed that. But go ahead.
If you're struggling to find a nice, fun, gender-neutral pronoun, or not pronoun. What is y'all?
I don't know.
Form of addressing someone. Here are some ideas. Soldiers.
You don't, but you use that for only people in the army.
You don't have to. It's gender neutral, right? I was gonna say fishermen, but that's not. Fisher folks. Fisher folks.
Fisher folks.
Referring to a group of people who are fishing. You don't have to say fishermen.
Hey.
Yeah?
Here's a neutral one. The Pine Bush people.
Pine Bush people. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Fellow Pine Bush people.
Yeah, the fellow Bush people. How you doing? What's up, 845? How's it going? Definitely don't use y'all.
Y'all's pretty great. But if you want to do another one, candle makers. You know? Hey, candle maker. How you candle makers doing?
I'm sorry, what? Did
candle makers. People who make candles.
Okay, so candle.
Yeah. That's a match. Yeah. Oh,
well,
yeah.
That's the lighter.
The lighter. Making the candle.
Yeah, starting the candle.
Yeah.
And then maker. Like constructing.
Yeah.
A candle maker.
Well, someone's got to make candles.
Candle maker. No, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Candle maker.
Usually that's like a title. Like I wouldn't go, yo, my journalists, and referring to just anybody.
Well, that's fair. But it's gender neutral. You know, there's also, that's not a specific, title, right? Enemies. Hey, enemies. Hey, get your asses over here.
Yo, what's up, enemies? How's it going?
Rivals.
Constituents. Yo, nemesis. Nemesis?
Anemones.
Nemesis?
I don't know.
Nemesis?
I've never heard of a plural, a bunch of nemesises.
Yeah.
I would guess nemesis.
That sounds the most right. Nemesis.
Yeah.
I want to say, well, I'll be honest, my brain doesn't even want to think about the plural of nemesis. Like, I just, like...
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
compute.
also a very singular word. Like, like, nemesis is just, like, there should be only one. You shouldn't have multiple nemesis.
Otherwise, you got it. That's a fucked up situation.
Yeah. At that point, are they your nemesis? I don't.
Well, yeah. Is it like uniquely like? Do you need to have one for it to be a nemesis?
Yeah, because like the nemesis, like I guess in its definition, I don't have the official one, but I imagine the definition is probably like your nemesis is your number one.
Yeah.
Like I hate you, or maybe not even hate, but just like you work against each other. Like a competitive drive that's there.
Otherwise, you're just the boy who cried nemesis.
Exactly. Exactly. You're the boy who cried nemesis. Down, so. You're like, I'm not. You're like, oh, I have multiple nemesis, and you're gonna be like, no.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know what a nemesis is.
Yeah, because then like, because it's just it calls into question the definition itself, and like maybe you have to look at yourself, and maybe you got some old problems in your life. Like maybe you're just a disagreeable person. I don't know. Gotta be more tolerant of people. All right, Alex.
Eukaryotes. Sorry, I'm gonna throw in that one. Now I'm done. Eukaryotes. You can say, hey, because like prokaryotes, like bacteria and stuff, Eukaryotes. Is that I think it's multiple celled organ? No. Oh, it's like if you have like the mitochondria and like the other organelles in your cells, and you got like fully fledged cells like we do, eukaryotes.
Oh, okay. You know, that sounds vaguely familiar, but like long ago I left science by the wayside.
Damn.
Not that I don't follow it, but
Yeah.
like, you know, like, this is a topic for another day. I say that a lot, but it's true.
Yeah.
I think in college you should specialize, and I've specialized in writing or like the arts and things like that. Like I understand science and I fuck with science, but I can't dedicate my knowledge and my time to it all the time. You know, that's what we leave other people for, you know, the scientists of the world, you know, and like they should leave writing to me.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. It's a fair trade. That reminds me, there's a college team that I covered. I had to do it frequently because they're in the same conference as Stevens College. The Eutectics, St. Louis College of Pharmacy, and their team mascot were the Eutectics.
What is that?
Actually,
What is an Eutectic?
I don't know. Their mascot is like this goblin with a what's that called? Like the pistol and mortar or something like that, or
What? Really?
like the
mortar and pestle?
yeah.
That's
the and he's like running at. He looks like he's running with it like
What the
this.
You have to show me a picture. Oh my god.
First let me look it up. St. Louis College of Pharmacy. Yeah, look.
Eutectics. Oh no, I'm scared. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, no. Wait, let me see again.
Like,
What?
It's
the
like it's like a goblin.
Are they like mixing medicine or what?
I don't know. They're gonna poison their enemies.
What the?
Hey, enemies. Now let me look up.
Hey, Eutectics.
Eutectics.
That's what you can call people. Oh my god.
Well, I'm trying to find the. Oh, here it is. Do you want to type it in and then like look it up?
Sure.
They spell it
Uh-huh.
Eutectics.
What?
Eutectics.
A eutectic? Eutectic?
Yeah, Eutectics.
Is a melting composition of minimum 2 or more components, each of which melts and freezes congruently.
Oh, so it's like
Jesus.
a team thing.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's more than one. Unless they like have a wrestling team or something, then like that would be like kind of counterproductive.
I wonder if it's like a thing in like pharmacology. It's a mixture of substances that melts or solidifies at a single temperature.
They triumph and fail together.
See St. Louis College of Pharmacy mascot, the Eutectic, also known as Mortimer Morty McPestle.
And you thought the Pine Bush Bushmen were bad.
Oh my god!
You know we were bad.
Oh, I did, and I did.
Eutectics.
Is the yep? Good lord. And it's a metaphor for the St. Louis College of Pharmacy's intercollegiate athletic program, combining athletics and a demanding academic program.
Yeah, see they succeed and fail together. It's a team thing. I'm telling you, it's a team thing. It was wild. Every time St. Louis Stevens College had to face them, and they were in the same conference, so they fought each other a lot, or they played each other a lot. I would always have not a field day. I would always have like a terrible time, like going, oh my god, I have to, because normally like you have to like spell check, right, when you're writing up an article. You have to like make sure you've accuracy checked everything and make sure all the spelling is correct and all that jazz, right, before you submit it for copy. So like every time we played against these people, I was like, man, I have to manually. I can't breeze through their name. I gotta like make sure. Okay, Ueute. Okay, all right, okay. And then, like you have to change it up. So I couldn't just always call them. Like I tried to avoid calling them the Eutectics as much as I could. But you can't keep going. St. Louis College of Pharmacy, St. Louis College of Pharmacy, St. Louis College of Pharmacy. You can't keep saying that. It was just a fucking nightmare. I hated it.
The Uties.
The Steven Stars, beautiful. That rolls off the tongue. It works. It's great. It just works.
Eutectics is longer than all of the Steven Stars. Like that is, Jesus Christ.
Really, is St. Louis College of St. Louis College of Pharmacy, Eutectics. It's just, what was his name? Morty?
Mortimer Morty McPestle. Jesus Christ.
Mortimer Morty McPestle. That is just abomination. That's an abomination.
How could an abomination be named by the esteemed alumni Dr. John Miller of class of 2012?
John Miller needs to go rethink his life. He must have paid a lot of money for that to fly.
Morty's got a fierce expression ready for competition. Jesus Christ.
Running with the pestle thing out there. Like running.
Grind my competition into the pestle.
All right, we've literally been doing an outro for I think 15 minutes.
Can I make it longer, or do you want to?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, I want to show you this thing on Twitter. Thank God it's still here. It's have you seen this video before?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe if you recognize this, I just saw this on. I'm gonna play this like a 15-second clip of like this instrument this dude is playing. It's one instrument. All of this. Wait for it. I don't know why, but the whee! It's one instrument. It's this big thing that's like got a bunch of like. Okay, so the piano plays by itself, right? And it's got that thing going. But he's pressing all the buttons, and he's got all these switches and levers and pulleys, and he pulls them. It's called an American. What's it called? An American photo. I don't remember what it is.
Is it coming up again?
Yeah, it's coming up. He's gonna pull the thing. Hang on. There's bells and drums and.
Oh my God!
He yanks it.
God damn it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that.
Oh,
share
well,
I
thank
thought
you.
that was. Okay, wait. Let me find what it was called. I have to.
Gotta let the good people know.
The American Photo Player.
Photo player.
Yeah, they were used in the silent film era
Oh.
because they were smaller than a literal band.
Okay,
All
that
these-
actually makes sense.
Yeah?
That actually makes sense. Yeah, because like, I don't know, maybe they couldn't do the film to the audio, like you know what I mean, like modern technology.
Yeah.
So like you would sit there and like you'd watch. I'm like, all right, like something funny's about to happen. That actually makes sense. That makes some sense.
I didn't put two and two together.
Instead of having
that's
like
a great point.
a bunch of people there, and
You
you would
got
actually.
everything you need.
Yeah, you would actually, and then you would compose. I imagine you'd probably compose the piece around the film.
Uh-huh.
Like you'd like, all right, at this time I gotta, and then like something happens on. Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. You've got the built-in slide whistle, the or whatever that noise is, like pulling on a cat's tail. Just
A primitive weapon for a more civilized age.
the American Photo Player. Isn't it fun just watching
Dude,
him
that
do all that?
that man works hard.
Yeah,
That man works hard.
he knows what he's doing. Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's okay. Alex, we haven't done 2 hours for once.
No way.
And if it wasn't for us going so off topic in the last like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
the podcast would have been an hour.
Seriously? That's
Yeah.
wild. I thought it was already
which
2 hours. That's
which
crazy.
is- yeah, I know. Time flies by
Yeah.
when you're having fun.
Yeah.
You know. Alex, is there anything you want to tell the people? Follow you on social media, stuff like that, or
I think not really. Social distance.
right, the coronavirus
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm always on social media. At PG Komai. That's me.
That's Alex.
Yeah.
Or Alessandro.
Alessandro.
By his government name.
Yeah, my government given. No, not given. Government regulated name.
Mandated, maybe.
Not mandate. I don't know.
You have to go a lot of hoops to change your name.
Yeah. Excuse me. Uh-oh. We're gonna cut that out. Or not. No, just kidding. Yeah. Burps are, it happens.
Optional.
Yeah. That's what you can say. Also, gender neutral. Fellow burpers. Everybody burps. Shitters.
All right. Remember in these trying times, stay safe, social distance, wash your hands, don't touch your face, all that jazz. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Be safe out there, boys and girls. All right. Alex.
Matthew.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Alex.
You threw me off there with the I'm Alex.
Yeah, well,
Normally you say I'm Alessandro.
Cause I wanted it to, the symmetry. You said Alex. I gotta say Alex. I'm Alessandro.
I like it.
I'm Sandy. Sandy Rowe. That's my name. Not my government mandated one.
Not your government mandated one.
It's my self-given.
And I respect it.
Thank you.
Everyone, we hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.